everyone, and welcome to the SoCal Summer Swing Out podcast. The music you are currently listening to is called Dances in the Night by Pate, a fellow swing dancer, musician, artist, and friend. You can find all links for streaming, socials, and videos down below. Make sure to go and support him. Now let's get into the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SoCal Summer Swing Out podcast. My name is Andre, your guest, and today we have a very special person. I am very excited to be welcoming Patrice, or Pate, as you'd like to be known, right, to the podcast. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Andre? Good to see you. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for making the time because I know this is the second time we tried to do this, right? I really
Right,
appreciate you putting me
of
into your
course,
schedule.
of course. Oh, I say it's my pleasure to be here and be part of it.
Well, of
But
course,
I
man.
think,
All right.
yeah.
Now, remind me
Uh-huh.
again, where are you based out of?
Okay, my name is Pate Patrice Nassala. I'm from Senegal originally, West Africa. Been here for 28 years now. And I'm based in Brookfield, Wisconsin, which is about an hour from Chicago. And uh, and yeah, so I'm here and excited to be here with Andre, my friend.
Now, I think that it's so cool because
Uh-huh.
it's always neat for me when I speak to someone who's not originally from the United States, right? Because that's
Right.
a story in and of itself. So why don't you walk us through like how you found Lindy Hop?
Okay, Lindy Hop, one of the best dance I will say in the world. That's
Mm.
because of the contrast of Lindy. If we say Lindy Hop, we're talking about jazz. We're talking about uh, swing dancing in general, with which is an umbrella of all the other dances. So I discovered Lindy Hop through performing for a dance company uh, on stage back in
Mm.
2005. That's like 18 years ago, and fall in love with it right away. Because before I was seeing it on movies, all the movies, and people dancing, flipping, partners here and there, jumping.
Mhm.
I'm like, this dance is amazing. So in a little more time to discover what is Lindy, what is jazz, in addition to my traditional dances that I do and teach and perform and choreograph. So I
Mhm.
find a lot of resemblance between the two concepts. So, and that's how I found Lindy Hop. And socially doing it, I just started not too long ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago,
Mm.
started doing it on stage, and started performing, competing, teaching, and yeah.
That's really dope, man. I was gonna say because
Mhm.
you dance full time, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, so, like, what kind of dancing do you teach? What kind of dances do you teach full time?
Yes, I do teach African dance and perform full time. Dance with a lot of dance company, such as African American Dance Ensemble of North Carolina, back
Mhm,
in 2006, something like that. Dance with Muntu, which is one of the biggest African dance company outside of Africa, and it was based in Chicago. That's how I actually end up on this side of Chicago. Uh,
mhm,
yeah, so I do a lot of African dance, traditional African dances from West Africa mostly. And
mm.
those dances are a lot like Lindy, I'm telling you. Because I've been linking a lot of the moves that I find in traditional dance, African traditional dance move that you find in jazz, that you find in Lindy and all of that. So African dance is basically what I do full time. I do
Mhm.
have a dance company called Jamak Jam, meaning peace and peace, and it does just traditional African dances. And Lindy Hop is my second dance that I do on the side.
Uh, oh,
You
it's like
you
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 broke up
stop
for a
for a
second
second
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but you were saying that, you typically do, multiple dances and African dances you mentioned specifically. What I
Right.
really love about what you've been posting on Instagram is
Mhm.
like the links between like solo Charleston movement
Right.
or solo
Right.
jazz and like
Mhm.
African dances and their names. I thought that was neat. How did you find that?
Oh man, it's amazing, man, what you can find in African dance that
Mm-hmm.
evolved and become something else. And just by dancing African dance and dancing Lindy, I stumbled to a move one day. I'm like, wait, look at this move here. And when I look it up and find the same similar step, that was the first one I did, and find the same similar step into with Charleston. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
let me look more deeper into the link between African dance move and jazz dance moves. Because if you look at the jazz dance moves, those are all enslaved African American that came up with those dances back in the
Mm-hmm.
early 90s. And seeing all this Charleston dance move and the African dance move link made me open my eyes that there is a link between those two, because when it started and where it ends, because African dances is like thousands of years, and we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of years of dances, and makes sense that it's a enslaved African American that came up. They were all African that were brought
Mm-hmm.
here and doing those dances. You have different from different countries in Africa, and all of them mixed together, dancing, each one dancing your own dance, and all those
Mm-hmm.
dances becoming one.
Mm-hmm.
Came up with jazz, and jazz started then because it's a mix of a lot of cultures becoming one, and that's how I further my research into Lindy Hop dance moves, jazz moves, and African dance moves.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, obviously, that takes a lot of time and that takes a lot of energy in order to find
right.
that information. So, if let's say someone wanted to look for more information about that, how would they start looking for that? Where would they start?
Well, you know, it's not a, I don't think there is anywhere you will look online and find that.
Mm,
The only thing you can do is based on your knowledge, what you know. If you don't know
mm,
African dance move, if you don't know African dances, there's no way you're going to see that there is a similarity, a link between these two moves. You go back, you look at the history of Charleston,
mm,
and you look at the history of slave, how they traveled, how they were brought here, where they were staying at, and then
mm,
with your knowledge of the dances, you
mm,
kind of put it together, and then you go look at the dance and you try to find uh, the history of their dances of that particular part of Africa. You find the history of their dances, you learn their dances,
mm,
and then you recollect that knowledge with the jazz dance moves. So that's basically, I would say, you need to learn, you need to know African dance and jazz dances to be able to see something
mm,
that may further your research into just doing that. Which Peter Storm, actually, we met
mm,
just this year, and he's like, "That's amazing what you're doing, because we don't have anybody who know African dance like you do, and also know Lindy Hop like you do. So that's a key thing that to have is something really good that you have, so you can be able to inform people about what you do, how you do it."
mm. Okay, man, that's super cool that Peter Strom recognized that because that was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah,
Is only someone with innate knowledge of African dancing can immediately say, "Oh, the fall off the log is like
right.
this," or
Yeah,
"Susie Q is
exactly.
like that."
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, for sure. And that's why I say you cannot find it written anywhere. You just have to know it. You know that
Mm,
you know both, and you can see the link between them, and then you can further your research and try to link them together. And it's always good to help people relate to something. You cannot just say, okay, this move, this is this move, and this is this move, and this is how it look like. No, you have to have a base, like where it's come from, what it is mean, what makes you think that the fall of the log that you see here and this Sabar dance move have a link. Well, you're not gonna have anywhere where they're gonna write you that this tribe in Africa came up with this move. On this place and did this move. You only what you can see is a resemblance of the movement, and further your research into finding more information that will make you think that they have a link together. Does that make sense? So that's what I've been doing a lot. Yeah, digging into that.
I mean, I feel like that's something that a lot of Lindy Hoppers can really take in, because I've seen a real spike, in Afro music in just the general population and general, like, just media, right? And then in swing dancing too, we're starting to see some Afro classes come up.
No, for sure. And if you see, like, there are a lot of things that you see in Lindy, in jazz, in swing dancing, that even with Afrobeat, if you say Afrobeat, if you're looking at like funk dance, dancing, all of those dances, they're all part of jazz. They're just a lot of different moves that are part of jazz. And Afrobeat, you cannot dance Afrobeat without having a jazz move there. And you can call it a jazz move because you can relate to the jazz move. That's what we know. But if you dig deep into those jazz moves, they're all back from Africa. It look like history repeating itself. The move go and come back. Like those African steps, they came here to the America and become jazz, and now they're going back to Africa. Like look at like Amapiano style dance.
Yes.
Like all of those, you see a lot of the movement, like going side, this and that. Kick. You have a lot of breaks there, like half break, full break, and this and that. Even just this past Saturday, I was at a dance. They're like, man, how do you know all of that? I'm like, I didn't learn it anywhere. I came up with it. It makes it like look like it's the same, but it's just how we dance. So there's a big link between that.
Yeah, 100%. Gotcha. Okay. Well, then we talked about your experience in African dancing, and then how it relates to Lindy Hop. Now, I'm sure some people are curious about what your experience is, because I know there are some dancers who listen to the podcast who don't just do Lindy Hop, they do other dances as well. What was the transition like going from doing African dancing, which is not typically connected with another person, to doing like partner dancing? How is that different?
No, partner dancing, if you're talking about partner dancing, it's all part of the dances. It's the mix of European, which is partner dancing, and African American enslaved dancing. Like before, they were doing a lot of solos here. The European, they come up with the ballroom style dancing, and that's what it mixed with the solos that African were doing here, African American was doing. And that's when it come to a point with a breakaway, what we call nowadays the jazz, Lindy Hop from here, and partner dancing. But if you talk about partner dancing, we don't have a lot of that in African dance. It's always been like solo dances and stuff like that. But with the Caribbean dances, you do have partner dancing. And it influences the world long time ago in the late 90s that you started seeing the Caribbean music going outside of the Caribbean. We had that in Africa. I'm telling you, the first time I did salsa back in Senegal, I thought it was a Senegalese dance. And then later I find out it's Caribbean dances. It's not a, yeah, so just that did help me, because I did like some salsa, some zouk, funana, all of those Caribbean dances that were way back. And so coming, doing swing dancing, like swing outs and all of that, I didn't have problem connecting at all with partner and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and like I do think that it's cool that there is that connection, because so for some listeners who don't know, I grew up in Cameroon,
Right.
and in Cameroon there was a lot of individual dancing as well.
Right.
But I remember at birthday parties, I went to this one birthday party, I was like 13 at the time, and I didn't know it back then, but they were playing slow music, right? They called it slow dancing.
Yeah.
And it was blues dancing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. It was very natural for all my friends to just step and touch through the floor, step and touch through the floor.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's such a beautiful connection that the African continent has and the Caribbean continent has.
Yeah.
Any place that really has a focus on rhythm. And so my question to you is like, how do you put in your African flair into your Lindy Hop, or how do you add your own special spice to your partner dancing?
Yeah, that's something that comes naturally for dancer. Yeah. Like say you're doing a swing out and you have time to do your own spices in it, your own self into that swing out, during the swing out. That's where my African dance will play a role, especially like say solos. Like solos, I can do a move, I can do a fall of the log with another African step that if you don't know it, you will not know. But that will just be coming naturally from me and be part of it. But yet, I'm staying with the vernacular aspect of this dance, because I like dancing. I like putting me into it, and so improvisation is what makes jazz jazz.
Yeah, and I feel like the improvisational piece, meaning not looking exactly like someone else.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's why jazz is so important. That's why Lindy is what it is. When you dance, you cannot dance somebody's dance. You have to dance your own dance. You have to be your own dancer. Otherwise, all what you're doing is copying. Yeah. But you can take, once you get the base, once you have the base, the foundation of the movement, no matter what dance it is, you have the foundation. That's a good start. The next thing is you put that base into your body. Say you do takieni. You know the foundation, how it's danced, right? But now, the way you dance it, you shouldn't be dancing it like somebody else. You dance it the way you should dance it, the way your body feel it. And that's what's gonna make it authentic. Otherwise, you're just copying somebody's and stuff like that, which is amazing in jazz.
I feel like right now there's this big debate on feeling good and looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a Facebook post right now. There are some Facebook posts right now that are talking about that. Joe Hofberg recently put out some media about looking good versus feeling good, and I feel like a lot of Lindy hoppers tend to want to look like someone that they admire,
Right.
which I think is great, for learning.
Right.
But what's your opinion on
Mhm.
What's your opinion on taking what someone's like does or how someone looks and making that your own? How did you go about doing that yourself?
Well, it's a and that goes both ways too. That goes both ways, looking good and feeling good.
Mm,
Let go. You feel your body is leaving the movement. You're leaving the dance. The dance is leaving you while you're doing it at that very moment. And taking somebody's work, somebody's move, nobody on the move anyway, but dancing like somebody that you admire, who inspire you, is a whole nother thing.
mhm,
I'm telling you, if you're gonna dance somebody's dance without putting yourself in it, it's just gonna be a movement, not a dance.
mhm, mhm,
There is dancing, there is doing a move.
mm,
You go deeper than just doing a move. You go in your body, you live it. You cannot copy dance. You can
mhm,
copy a move and do it just to look good or something. But to dance, your body have to feel it, and you have to feel the movement too. That's
mhm,
how I see it.
mm,
That's my personal opinion. And even in my classes, I always say, no matter what class I'm teaching, I'm like, okay, let's do the move like this. Now let's dance the move. Meaning you have to live it, put yourself into it, come up with
mhm,
something that's going to make it different, make it your own dance. And that's big thing that a lot of dancers, that can help a lot of dancers leaving a move than just doing a move.
mhm, mhm. And
Hmm.
there is something to be said about just doing a move and
Yeah.
dancing a move,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, I know that you understand this as a dance instructor, especially in African dancing, the concept of embodying and feeling the
Right.
movement.
Right.
So
Right.
talk us through like how you would explain that concept to a new beginner, both in like the Lindy Hop sense as well as the African dancing sense.
Yeah. For me, African dance is you know
Well, I'm frozen for a second.
help us, some of us ritual dancers. Yeah.
Sorry. You cut out for a second right before you started.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Let's no, what I was saying is that African dances are ritual dances.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they come up, because we do have dance for every occasion, for everything, even for
Mm-hmm.
growing your cornfield. You have dances that will accompany that. You have somebody who died, and you have, before you bury them, you have dances you do for that. You have baptism, weddings, you have dances that go with just that. But now all of those dances have become celebratory dances, just to make you feel good,
Mm-hmm.
because you dance them when you know where they're coming from. It's easy to adapt and leave them. You know, this is a funeral dance. Okay, I have to dance certain way because of this rhythm. The rhythm make me feel this way. That rhythm make me feel that way, and that helps a lot for some of us ritual dancers to be
Mm-hmm.
able to adapt to other forms of dances or music. How we feel it. Oh, this is the African American dance. I'm going to dance it like the way I feel it, the way my body is used to feeling a rhythm that I'm dancing. Yeah, does
Mm-hmm.
it make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Because if I'm doing a funeral dance, I'm not gonna be jumping and laughing and doing maybe like this, doing that, but it's still dance because you're feeling it, you're feeling the move, no matter how small or how big it is, you're feeling it. Your heart is living something because of that occasion. So the same
Mm-hmm.
thing with Lindy. When I'm doing Lindy, I'm like, oh, this is a jazz dance from a lot of cultures, embodies with the world jazz, and started by African American back in the, I already mentioned that, back in the early 90s. And I'm gonna feel something there, especially me as a dancer. I'm gonna feel, if I put my mind to it and think about slavery. Oh, these people, they may be this part of Africa, and how did this move become what it is? Because jazz evolve every single moment. It's changed every day. So putting yourself into a dance, being able to connect with the dance and not copying is by doing it yourself, how you feel it. Yes, like I was saying, like jazz, ethnic dances, African dances, with live music. Back then, we didn't have any recorded music. People would be playing wooden instrument, string, whatever that make music. That's what we use live to dance. That's how all of these traditional dances were based on. But now with modern dances, I would say modern dances on top of modern, this like jazz dances back then, before in the late 90s when they're becoming modern, they used to be with recorded music. They are with recorded music, and there are a lot of steps that you can do. Like I was saying, African dance, you maybe have to wait for the drummer or the musician to tell you when to start dancing, when to change move, or when to stop. You know, and it's not like recorded music where you can do all the steps you want in one beat. You know? And that's what make a little difference between ethnic dancers and recorded music dancing. So that's why I was saying you can have like million step into one beat in jazz. With ethnic dancers, sometimes you have to communicate with the drummers. They tell you when to start, change, or stop, or slow, or speed up. So yeah.
Yeah, because some of the videos that you put out, the only instrument is a drum that you're dancing
Right.
to, or drums.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, in West Africa, we do a lot of drumming. We do a lot of drums and strings. We do a lot of that, and yes, and being a traditional dancer, that's something that I have. That may be a little bit. You may see me do like a move. My background as a dancer, as an African dancer, that's another thing that maybe will affect, that will show the difference between my solo and somebody who is fluent in only jazz solo. Yeah,
Yes.
makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. That totally makes sense to
yeah,
me. And I was thinking because how do I say it? So you know how in jazz, right, there is an emphasis on rhythm and there's an
right,
emphasis on the drums,
right.
right? And I think that some dancers are curious because you know how you when you're dancing in Lindy Hop, you're social dancing, then there's this like drum break that's like dun, 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 dun,
Right.
dun, and your partner dancing, right?
Yeah,
Um, Sometimes dancers like freak out, they're like, "Oh, what do I do? This is such a
yeah,
long drum break, and
right.
I don't know what to do." I'm curious. What would be your suggestion to dancers who don't know what to do in that space? And how would you express those drums?
Well, it's all depend from one dancer to the next. Like
Yeah, yeah.
for me, for example, if I, as a drum dancer, because we do a lot of drumming, like as a drummer dancer, I will I find myself actually going crazy when the drums are there. I I'm like, oh no, I'm all over the place. Yeah, but at the same time, you can be able to hear the drum and be settled, you know, and say it's just the same thing as if a piano or if the bass was going at the same time. And for me in Lindy, when I hear the drums, automatically what comes to my mind is I want to do solo, which is not, that's what comes to my mind, but that's not what is written in stone that I should do. But as a drummer, I see that a lot. And even when I'm dancing with a partner, I hear the drum, we're still holding hand on a breakaway or swing out. I
Mm-hmm.
can still do part of our dancing. And when we hear the music, you automatically have some sensors in your body that want to do
Mm-hmm.
certain things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wise, and you have to embody that. You have to let that flow more. When you hear the music, let your body hear it, let your body live it, and do what your mind is telling you to do. It's free. Dance is free. That's why there is no like 2 plus 2 equal 4. No. 2 plus 2 equal millions, however you want to see it as a dancer. Just let your body feel it and live it and just do that.
Okay, let your body feel it. So if the listeners are hearing a pause, it's because I'm writing this all down. What
Yeah.
Pate is saying is so beautiful in my mind. Like you said that dance is free and you want to express it in your body, correct?
Yeah, you dance is free. Like I was saying, you hear the music, let your body hear the music. Your body
Mm-hmm.
receive the music. There is something in your body. Your body is gonna you have to let your body free, feel the music, your body express itself, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
And I'm not saying you're just gonna stand in one place and wait for your body to do something. No, no. Your body is your whole self, your
Mm.
conscious, your whatever you do, everything. That's why I dancing. Just leave it and let it be what it is.
See, that I think is so that is so I would almost say even technical
Yeah.
because swing dancers, there are some
Mhm.
swing dancers who have never danced in their entire lives,
Right.
you know? And
Right.
so then when they hear something like feel the music and
Uh-huh.
express it with your body, some of them
Right.
might think, "Oh, I am so disconnected from my body. I don't know how to do that."
How to do
So
that.
my question is, yeah, as like an instructor, how do you get students who may not feel as comfortable in their body or maybe shy or not as
Yeah.
connected? How do you help them discover that within themselves?
Well, they have to be comfortable within themselves.
Mm,
That's
oh,
that's that's something that you cannot learn from anybody. That's something you cannot teach to anybody. You just have to live it. You just have to be confident in yourself and say, "I'm free."
mm.
Just do that. I am free. I know we do have like some step that we want to follow to be in line with what we're doing. Say we're doing vernacular jazz dance solo, and you are afraid to do a move that's not vernacular. No,
Mhm,
shouldn't be that way. You still in
mhm,
the vernacular aspect of what you're doing, but yet you have whatever you do extra on top of it. That's you leaving you. That's your body expressing itself. So there's no
mhm.
right or wrong if it's come to that. That's why people they need to
Oh,
leave their mind over there and let their body just leave that. You know,
oh,
just leave that dance. Let your body leave the dance and let the dance live in your body and express it on the outside and people can see and without expectation. You just have to dance and be free and just do that. I can have
mm.
weekend problem. The only time I'm free, that's why I love dance. The only time I'm free most of the time is when I'm on the dance floor.
Mm. Man, that is so deep because you said something that hit so hard. You said that when it comes to dance
Uh-huh.
movement and dance expression,
Mhm.
that freedom comes from leaving your mind and your worries and like
Yeah,
thinking, oh, I'm not doing it well, leaving it to the side and
yeah,
just letting the music embody you so your
exactly,
body expresses it.
exactly.
And I love how you said it's not wrong if it comes from a place of self-expression and embodiment
Right,
of the music.
exactly. Because that's what you're living. It's your body living it. You expressing yourself. You are you. Yeah. Your body
Mm,
is how. That's how you add. You're going to add into the dance. Like say,
mm,
like especially with jazz, this is a free dance. There's no right or wrong in jazz dance. That's
mm-hmm,
why it's
mm-hmm,
called free dance. You know, and that's true. We do have to follow patterns to accomplish something, especially when you're doing choreography. Everybody will have to look alike and do this, or we're performing, we're doing the strictly finals, or we're doing this and that. uh yeah, still you have to express yourself.
mm-hmm,
That's your time to be free. Express it how
mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think
Mhm.
that something that you touched on is it can be seen in many different dances. For example,
Uh-huh.
if you look at like metal concerts, right? Where it's
Right,
like electric guitars, metal,
right,
but you
right.
see people dancing, you see people expressing the music with
Yeah,
authenticity. That's the word.
yeah. Well, you know, me, I'm one of those dancers that can go to a rock concert and dance Lindy Hop.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm that person who will not be afraid to do that because I'm
Uh,
free. The body have
mm,
your body free. You know,
yeah.
nothing is written in stone. We're going, we're leaving. We are just here on a passage. You know,
Mm,
nothing is written in stone. Just because they did this dance and it's called ballet, you just have to do ballet or don't do it. No,
mm-hmm.
should be free to do whatever you want with how you feel about certain things, especially things that will bring you freedom, as long as
Mm.
you stay right on the path that you're supposed to stay. I'm not gonna dance, jump on your dining table because I'm free. No. You know, just stuff like that. Expression is should be free.
Yeah, that actually speaks a lot because it sounds to me like when you're talking about expression, when you're talking about freedom, when you're
Yeah.
talking about body movement, a
Hmm.
lot of it is rooted in emotion. A lot of it is rooted in feeling.
Right. Exactly. And you know, there is one thing too I wanted to touch on with the music. It's being grounded.
Mm,
Being grounded with African music and jazz. That's something that will never going to leave. And that did came up with almost all the dances we're dancing. Jazz,
mm,
from jazz evolving and become what it become. Like you say, all these swing dances like jitterbug, boogie woogie, uh, balboa, shag, fast trap, uh, modern dances that came later, and all of those dances, they're grounded.
mm,
That's one thing that I know, that with all the research I've been doing, the link between African dance and jazz dances, that's one thing that I found that is totally pure Africa being embodied jazz and become all these dances that we're doing.
mm,
So that's like say the stamp off, that's
mm-hmm.
Africa right there. And almost everything you do in Lindy, you have to be grounded.
Yeah.
Like how they say uh, the bounce here, bouncing, being
Mm,
grounded.
mm,
You cannot bounce and be grounded. You just have to pulse the heartbeat. The heartbeat is what's where you find yourself grounded to the ground. That
mm,
pulse that you feel on your heartbeat. that help you going down to the ground. And I just didn't want to talk the whole time without mentioning. And I will talk to anybody about that.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's so. I feel like that is so. It makes sense when you think about it, right?
Yeah, right.
Considering all the dances and how rooted it is on like using the ground.
It's the ground, right? Exactly. And
Yeah,
like you are a teacher. You go, you teach, you show people how to be grounded. Yeah, that's one of your
yeah.
things that you look like the foundation. Those are foundation that you have to start it from.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I like how you brought up that concept of being grounded, and I like how you brought up the concept of emotions around the dance,
Right.
and how dance is an expression of your embodiment of the music. I feel like that's
Okay.
the best way to do it, is like,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
then when you express it, you can express it with emotion in a celebratory dance. You're
Yeah.
happy. If it's like
Yeah.
a song like Wade in the Water,
Right.
you dance
Exactly.
differently.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%. And feel comfortable. So those are the things that's gonna make a dancer comfortable. When they know that, that's already part of the battle. Like stay
Mm,
grounded, leave the music, be
mm,
free, express
mm,
yourself, let your body express, let yourself express yourself
mm-hmm,
into that you are free. You just expressing yourself, you know, that's gonna help
mm-hmm.
any student to be free on the dance floor.
Man, I love that. I love that you're talking about that concept of freedom, because I don't think I haven't talked with a guest yet about the
Yeah.
feeling of freedom in the dance.
Oh yeah.
Every time I think about dancing, a lot of people dance to escape or like
Right.
put their worries aside,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah. And you see that a lot. People they like, I just want to do this because I learned this. No, you want to do something because it's your freedom.
Mm,
Because you dance is just like meditation.
mm,
You want to clear your mind, yeah? You want to clear
mm,
your mind. You don't want to hear anything. You want to just do your whatever style of meditation you're doing, because you want to clear your mind. Well, dance is the same thing. While you're dancing, your mind should be free. Your mind should be free. That expression will just come naturally.
mm,
Even if you're doing a choreography, you know the steps. It's okay. You can think about the step. Oh, what steps come next? But don't just do it because you want to make the choreography happen. Sure, that's your part. That's your job after that you do
mm.
before. But once
Yeah.
you're there, just leave it, man. Just express yourself. Yeah.
Right. Like take the time to learn the steps. When it
Right.
comes to performing, like
Yeah.
do the steps with your body and your
Yeah.
heart is what it
Leave
sounds
it.
like.
Exactly. Yes.
And I think that sums it up quite beautifully. Damn, Pate,
Yeah.
damn, that's some good stuff you were bringing up there, man.
Yeah, man.
um, all right, well, we're getting close to the top of the hour, so let's go ahead
Yeah.
and go into some wrap-up questions. But before then, just like
Hmm.
how you mentioned you want to talk about dancing being grounded, is there
Hmm.
anything else that you really wanted to bring up or topics you wanted to touch on in during the podcast that we didn't
Well,
touch on yet?
yes, I do want to mention about uh, when we say, I just want people to know that when I say jazz dances, African dances, I'm not labeling it and leaving somebody's dance aside.
Mm, mm, mm,
All of these, they're all one. I'm just talking
mm.
about my part from where I am from and
Yes.
put it on the table. But jazz dances, these are dances that came from everywhere, from Europe,
Mm.
the Caribbean, like we talked about earlier, and what we say vernacular jazz dance. That's a mix of a lot of culture that came up with something that worked for all of them at once.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if you look at like some of the vernacular, the authentic jazz move that we do, like say like the mambo step. Mambo
Yeah.
step is not African. Yeah, it is
Mhm.
African in different way, but it traveled somewhere Cuba, and then made its way back to in the U.S. Because
Mhm.
back then, in the early 19th, of these dances they were coming together. You have a lot of migration from Cuba, and
Mhm.
they make their way all the way to the Savoy Ballroom, and you
Mhm.
have a lot of mambo dancing and stuff like that. I saw some video. I thought I was in Cuba, but it was in the Savoy Ballroom where they do.
Oh.
Oh yeah, when they're doing swing dancing, Lindy Hop, and
Yeah.
like or like the mambo step and all of that. So this just to make sure people know it's not just African, and jazz is not African dance. Jazz is
Mhm.
African American dances, but it was brought here by African American, enslaved African American in the U.S. And jazz is
Mhm.
evolving. It's becoming whatever we want it to be. Yeah.
Man, you hit on some deep stuff, my guy. Damn.
I'm happy
That
to share with you, man. Anytime you can have me back anytime too. I'll be present.
yeah, man. Oh, I think we will need to do a second one just to like dig into this a bit more.
Yeah.
But I think that's awesome. Now, going into like the final questions, let's say someone loved what you were talking about, someone on the podcast listening, they say, man, that was some great stuff. If they wanted to reach out to you and ask you some clarifying questions, maybe ask for a private lesson in
Mhm.
either Lindy or African dancing,
Right.
what are your social media and how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram as Afrolindyhopper in one word.
Mhm.
That's basically where the platform where I do all my dancing and research expo with a link between jazz and African dances.
Mhm.
You can always contact me there, and DM me on Instagram. I have link tree there with some more information how to contact me and stuff like that. But I'll be
Mhm.
more happy to do lecture and or share what I know with everybody from dance or to what I the research I've been doing between
It's 3 o'clock.
dancer.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That sounds
Yeah,
good. So, in terms of everybody, I'll put all of Pate's information, Instagram, all of that down in the
right.
description, so you can find all that. The next question I was going to ask is, where are you traveling to next year? Do you have any events planned already?
Yes, I'm planning on of course, Lindy Focus. I'll probably be there.
Mm.
I do have. I'm trying to escape to Africa for a little bit, uh, and when I came back, I'm actually performing in Lindy Focus also too. This end of the year, planning
Nice.
into ILHC next time too, and hopefully I'll see you there and we can do things together. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be dope. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, as far as dance, those are the two that I have on the schedule right now. But yeah, I always drive here and there or fly here and there last minute to go to events, depending to my schedule. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. That totally makes sense. All right, yeah, Lindy Focus, ILHC.
yeah,
I'll make sure to leave links down there below as well so people can register.
yeah.
The last thing that I wanted to ask, this is a question I ask on all of my podcasts.
Hmm.
The question is, what is a message you want to leave for any Lindy Hoppers that are listening right now?
Don't never stop dancing.
Oof.
Keep
Mm,
dancing, keep dancing, no matter what. Keep dancing.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well, dance is a healing of a nation. Dance is
mm-hmm.
healing of a body.
Yeah,
If you dance, you forever not only going to stay young, but it's for you always going to find a place of peace, a place of freedom where you can just let everything go and just do that. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Well, keep dancing.
Keep dancing. I don't know if I'm gonna name this podcast Dance is Freedom or
Yes.
Dance Expression, or there's so much good stuff I could call it.
Right.
But
Yeah. That's
yeah,
all.
dude.
It's all yours, man.
All right. Yeah. Well,
All right, man.
thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah, of
much for
course.
listening. Don't
Yeah.
go anywhere after I stop recording, but if you are a listener
Mhm.
and you made it to the end of this podcast and you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and comment at the bottom that dance is freedom. Dance is freedom is what you want to comment
Yes.
at the bottom. And please don't forget to follow Pate on all the social media. Don't forget to follow us, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, all of that. And Pate, thank you so much, my friend.
Well,
Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
yeah, of course, man. You're doing good things. I'm happy to be part of it. Yes, I'll always be here when you need me.
All right, I'll take that noted. And Pate and I have been talking. We might do a little something, something in the future, which would be really
Yes,
fun.
yeah, that'll be fun, man. Let's do that.
Let's do it. All right,
All
thank
right,
you so
man.
much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you later.
Yes.
Bye. Thank you for listening. The music you are currently hearing is called Dances in the Night by Papa D. You can find all his links down below. Till next time.
Don't lose hope, trying to stand tall, trying to give this dance of yours the best that you got. Cause every time that they hear this sound, that music gets their feet above the ground. Time just seemed to stop in every move. Seems all your life what is based on tonight, and all you gotta do is do it right. You gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move, move, move. Got to be a dancer.